Hey everyone, Chrissy at Pinovate. Welcome to our needle felting tutorial. We are so excited about this one because not only is it instructed and you do have a step-by-step instruction to go with it, but you actually get to be very, very creative on your own afterwards as well, and we can't wait to see what you come up with. So your kit includes a couple of pieces of flat felt, a whole bunch of beautiful, bright, colorful roving wool, a foam block, a selection of felting needles, a holder, as well as some leather finger protectors, just to make sure that you don't poke yourself.
Needle felting is very relaxing and very rewarding as well. You can see your work happen very quickly as you're creating it. It's almost as though you're painting with wool, which is kind of cool. Not only can you create flat images or pictures, but you can also create 3D shapes as well. In your kit, you're going to get a whole assortment of roving wool. So roving wool, this is what it looks like. You can see all the fibers are pulled apart easily. This is what it looks like before it's sent to be spun into yarn. When you're using your wool, you're going to pull off small sections to work with as you go, rather than using a great big chunk. Welcome to the needle part of needle felting. In your kit, you're going to receive a container of different lengths and thicknesses of needles. Please be careful with these. They are very sharp and there's actually barbs on the very end of them. This is your needle holder. How it works is you're going to carefully pull the top out. There is a needle already stored in there. You want to take it, flip it around, so the bottom is at the narrow part of the wood, and then you can place it right back in there. And then this is what you're going to hold and use to do your needle felting. So here's our foam block. This is what we work with when we're needle felting. So we actually take our needle and poke it straight through. So a couple words of precaution is it can pierce all the way through to the back. So when you're working at your table, have a piece of wood or a cutting board underneath so you don't scratch your surface. Okay, so for our first project, we are going to make a rainbow with clouds onto our piece of felt. What you're going to need for this is your needle, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet wool, as well as white for the clouds, your foam block, and your blue piece of flat felt. So the first step is we are going to take our flat felt and place it on our foam block. So for your rainbow, you can have it any size. It doesn't just have to be the size of the foam block. You can actually pick up and move your felt anywhere as you need it. So with our wool, we're going to pull a little bit apart. We're going to work in small sections rather than big chunks. And we're going to place it, I'm going to try and start near the top. You're going to place it down where you want it to start, and I'm going to have it arched all the way down. Okay, and then we're going to take our needle. Now, please remember with your needle, they are very, very sharp. There's barbs on the end as well, and they're delicate, so they do have a tendency to break. Please be careful when you are using this. And now all we're going to do is we're going to pierce that roving wool into the felt. So what happens is between the needle, the barbs on the needle, and actually the fibers in the felt, they actually bend together and kind of knit themselves together. So when you pull it off, it's coming through on the back as well. So they kind of form like a knitted fibers together. And you're just going to continue that all the way down. The more you pierce it, the more solid it will become. The less you pierce it, the more loose and fluffy it will be. And just continue with your wool as you need it, pulling small sections off and adding into where you already have been if you needed to overlap. So I've finished the red part of the arch of my rainbow. Now I'm going to continue with my orange wool, doing the same thing, right underneath it and actually overlapping slightly, so there's not going to be a gaping hole in between. So again, pulling your wool bit by bit apart, just using small pieces and adding on as you need it. And remember, you can actually overlap onto the red slightly. So I finished with the orange arch of my rainbow. I'm just going to continue with each color until my rainbow is done. I have finished all of the colors of my rainbow. Everything is needled on there nice. You can see it coming through the back. All the fibers are all intertwined. So now with our white wool, we're gonna split it into two pieces, and we're gonna make a cloud on either side. Or if you just wanted to have one big cloud on one side, you can do that as well. It's the same process. You're gonna work in pieces, but you're actually gonna overlap onto the colors that are already there. So here is our final rainbow. Everything is needled on there nice and tight, and you can actually hang this up or you could frame it. This is a great way to start to learn to needle felt. As you keep practicing with your kit, you can actually continue into something like this. So you could use your other piece of felt. You can also use burlap or fabric. You can sketch out your pattern on there first and just have a lot of fun with it. You can also do 3D pieces as well. So this, rather than needling onto another fabric, you're just going to needle it onto itself. So with needle felting, you don't just have to do flat pieces. You can actually create 3D felt sculptures as well, and I will show you how to do this. To make the bee, you're going to need your yellow, black, and kind of a grayish off-white for the wings, as well as your foam block and your needle. Starting with your yellow wool, you just want to shape it into kind of the shape of the body of a bee. So rather than needling onto a piece of felt, we're actually just going to needle onto itself. So it's the exact same process. Please watch your fingers. The more you needle, the tighter it becomes. Okay, so I have a little fuzzy bee body. Now all of that roving wool that I had, I've needled it so this is now solid. So we're going to add some stripes to our bee. You're going to pull the wool the same way as before in small little sections, and you're going to place this onto your bee and do the exact same process as you did with the rainbow. Once that first little bumblebee stripe is on there nice and tight, you're gonna do a second one on the other side. Once you have both of the little bumblebee stripes on there, we're going to cover the very end as well where his stinger would be. Our little bee's coming along. He's got a tail, two little stripes. Now we're gonna work on his head. So you're going to need just a little piece of black, and you're going to turn this into a ball, and then we'll attach it onto his body. So for this, you're just going to continue to needle onto itself. Once you have your black formed into a little bumblebee head, we're actually going to attach it right onto the body. So this is the exact same
Same technique, just that we were using with the rainbow. You're just going to needle the two together. So you want to make sure that that black gets into the yellow. All right, so the full body of our bee is done with the head, stripes, and a tail. We're gonna set that to the side and we're gonna work on the wings. So with your kind of off-white, almost like a silvery gray, you're gonna take a piece of the roving wool again, and this time you're going to shape it into a wing. Again, you're just going to needle onto itself until you have the shape that you desire. Once you're done your first wing, make a second one. Okay, we're all set with our wings. So all we have to do now is attach them. So place them where you would like them, right on top, and you're just going to felt just that middle part onto the body. So just so they attach in the middle. There's one. And there's two. Now we have a cute little felt sculpted bumblebee. Thank you so much for following along. I hope you enjoyed the needle felting tutorial. So please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. And when you create your own needle felting, I would absolutely love to see it. So on Instagram, please tag us in your photos at Pinovate. Thanks for following along.